Good evening, brothers, tourists, and ladies, and welcome back to this episode of the Chapter House, the Old Glory Club's look into the individuals that make up the Old Glory Club chapters. With us tonight is Campus Martius from the great state of Ohio, and representing Campus Martius is Tread on Them. How are you, sir?
Doing well. Thank you for having me tonight.
Yeah, thanks for making the time to join us. And Cal Trask, how are you, my friend?
I'm Dandy. How are you?
Doing wonderfully. It's a beautiful late summer evening here in my dystopian hellhole. But tonight we're going to talk about Ohio. So I guess my first question is because I don't know much about Ohio except that a large part of it used to actually be Connecticut. But what is the name Campus Martius? What does that mean?
So, the name itself stems from a fortification in Marietta. Um, Cal, I believe, has most recently read the history of Ohio, so he could probably fill you in better on that. My memory is probably weakened since I last read it. So, Cal, if you want to go into further detail on that.
Yes. So Ohio really does get to start in New England. Uh, Two notable figures by the names of Manasseh Cutler and Rufus Putnam. Putnam being an officer of the American Revolution. They and some comrades gathered together in a tavern, and this is after the war. Um, as some of you might know, we were in pretty dire financial straits immediately after the war. Many of the soldiers and officers couldn't get paid, so they decided they'd petition Congress in lieu of payment for a plot of land in Ohio. Washington had actually been to the land and seen Ohio prior to the Revolution. And after some back and forth with Congress, they were given approval to go settle the land at what is now Marietta. And they went there and established a fortification known as Campus Martius, that is the Fields of Mars. And that became the first settlement in Ohio. And from there, they stretched over to Cincinnati and named it after the Society of the Cincinnati. And things kind of took off from there.
I mean,
This is actually,
that's a go ahead, Tread.
I was going to say, this is actually part of a larger expansion. So, the total contract was for about 1.5 million acres in the Northwest Territory, basically stemming from the where the Ohio and the Muskegon rivers come together, which is in Marietta. And this is actually the first permanent non-Native American settlement west of the Allegheny Mountains that was founded in 1788.
That's pretty great as far as the story goes. So you guys are named after the first settlement, and I hope, obviously, Campus Martius, the chapter, is the first chapter of the Old Glory Club in Ohio. Have you guys thought about? I mean, Ohio is one of those states that's not exactly small. So do you guys? I mean, I'm sure you've heard us talking before about how some chapters are thinking of doing um, lodge systems in the future, or or breaking it apart into other chapters. Have you guys been thinking about that at all?
Most definitely. So we kind of have a loose structure drawn up. We kind of put it on pause for now, but like you said, Ohio is not small. So the majority of our members are from mostly one of three regions. We've got the capital region in Columbus, we've got the northeastern region, which is kind of the Akron and Cleveland area, and we've got the southwest region, which would be more of your Cincinnati, Dayton area. So those are kind of where our clusters of members are right now. So that was something that we had discussed that we'll most likely go down that path in the near future as we grow more, because it is very difficult getting all these guys together with all of different schedules. So having regional chapters or lodges seems like the way to go for us.
Yeah, just how like big north to south is it? So if you wanted to get from Columbus to somewhere closer to like West Virginia, how long would that take about?
So from the Columbus area to West Virginia, you're looking at 2.5 to 3 hours. Columbus, as most people know, if they know the geography of Ohio, is pretty central. So being in the Columbus area, you can mostly get anywhere within 2.5 to 3 hours. But for the guys that are in the more farther extremities, it's some of our meetups have been quite a hike for some people.
Yeah, I mean, I can imagine. Do you guys have any crossover with the people in Philly?
Oh, I mean, we are in a regional chat with all the Pennsylvania chapters. We do have something coming up. We may reach out to other chapters for it, see if they'd like to participate. Pennsylvania chapters, or I think we have a Kentucky one that just formed up or something. So we will be looking to participate with them more here in the near future, I reckon.
Well, that's pretty cool. So do you find like
also the Indiana guys? I've had some discussion with them, and we're looking at planning something with them in the near future as well.
So when it comes to grabbing a membership around Ohio, do you find that a lot of your members are transplants or people who, have been in Ohio for a long time? I don't really know how, if people come and go out of Ohio for work, or if it's more just you're born there and stay there, which doesn't seem to be very common in, our generation or below.
Well, I've been here my whole life. Tread is a transplant. We have a couple more transplants, I believe, throughout the chapter. I think most of the people in my area have been here basically our whole lives.
Yeah, we've got a good mix of guys. I would say we're probably 2/3 Ohio natives and about 1/3 of transplants right now.
All right, so it's not all it's not all completely nativist. So you mentioned that Ohio was kind of taken initially by a couple of ex-soldiers sitting in a bar, which I find to be a very common theme in America is that all great things start in bars. What is this kind of how the Campus Martius got set up? Like, tell me about how you guys came together.
Well, it's not exactly how we formed, but it's kind of what we find ourselves doing for a lot of meetups now. No, I think initially I knew someone in real life who we had discussed getting something going, and it may have been we were looking for the central email address and couldn't find it anywhere, and then one of the Pony Express radio streams, they actually said the email address, and I sent an email. Brother of mine sent an email, and I'm gonna guess probably 4 or 5 other guys at the same episode sent an email, and in short order, we found ourselves in a chat together and started the formation right then and there. I don't know if Cal had the same experience, but yeah, he was right there in the beginning as well.
Yeah, no, same as you. I had emailed Central to look to get involved, and here I am now.
Yeah, and this is actually a good reminder for any of the tourists listening. If you're not sure if there's a chapter in your state or you'd like to start one, head on over to theoldgloryclub.com and check out our email. But yeah, so when you said something about like what Tread, you mentioned like what the chapter is up to. Could you like expand on that a little bit?
Yeah, so we kind of have a lot of say irons in the fire or lofty goals, but we kind of set out a I guess the main goal for us was to build the bonds of brotherhood through a lot of things like skill building, mentorships, basically learning things that you don't know the other guys are strong in. So we've got a various number of skills that people have that we can share with each other. Anywhere from people who are well versed in the medical field to homesteading, everything in between. We've got machinists, welders. I mean, you name it, we've got people that can do it. So just kind of leaning on each other when you want to learn something, when someone has something going on, like, hey, I'm gonna put up a wall in the house today and do some drywall. Who wants to come by and learn how to do that? Or we're gonna process some chickens or some livestock. Who wants to come by and learn how to do that? We're always throwing stuff out there for guys to learn new things.
Yes, you guys have started doing the Skillshare thing. How do you structure that? Is it like, because we had one chapter a couple episodes ago saying that they would assign somebody like kind of the monthly, like this month you have to decide like and put together what it is that the chapter is going to do. Now, you guys have a more formal thing like that, or is it more like a like anybody when they have the chance is like, hey, I'm doing this thing, come on down?
Exactly, it's more open like that. So we'll throw it out there to anyone that wants to come by. For instance, last fall, myself and another brother were going to process some lambs, so we threw it out there, and Cal took the drive. I think it was probably about 2.5 hours for him, and he came down and watched us process the lambs. And yeah, I think I don't know if it was what he was expecting, but that was one opportunity that was thrown out there. And there's other things that we'll even throw out to some of the prospects too, and just have some open sessions like that, but nothing formal at this point.
So you said you processed some lambs. Cal, are you also do you also are these farm animals? Like, do you guys do, like you mentioned homesteading? And Cal, I know that you had said that you do some gardening. Do I remember correctly?
So watching a lamb get shot in the head, then skinned alive, and then peeled apart was something quite new for me. It wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be, except for the smell. But I don't know. I think that's the kind of thing that every man should at least witness once in his life. I do have ambitions to garden in the future, though. So.
Yeah, there are several of us. There are several of us that also do gardening too. So, at least a handful of guys have some pretty significant gardens that we get a decent crop of vegetables from as well.
So I mean, we've talked to some people so far who will do a little bit of the gardening thing and maybe do some fermentation, but I don't think we've had any people who do like the full-on homesteading thing with livestock yet. And Tread, is that like did you buy these lambs just to slaughter them, or do you raise them as well?
So the first 2 years, they were actually purchased by a brother of ours, and he raised them up on his property. And this year he took a vacation, and I volunteered to lamb sit. So I currently have 4 lambs in the backyard. But no, they are purchased with the intention of slaughtering for meat. Same thing with the meat chickens, and they're just kind of a good entry into the homesteading process. There's another gentleman who runs a survival show that has an adage that kind of rang true. It's chickens are the gateway drug. You start with chickens and then you just kind of go from there. But it's been a good learning process, and It's good for anyone that has kids too, to bring them up around that, just to give them more of an excuse to get outside. Because with electronics and all that, it's tough to get kids outside these days. But you get them interested in that and get them working out in the yard, and it's good.
Yeah, I mean, I had chickens for a little while in the before times when I lived in the woods and not this god awful city. So I could definitely see how they could be a gateway drug. That's very funny. So you said lambs are good at like as an entry level. Is that just because they're easy to take care of, or are they easy to slaughter? Like Cal mentioned the lamb getting shot in the head. Do you have like a gun that you just use for the lambs?
I mean, no, I mean you can pretty much use any gun for that. Anything from a 22 on up, if you know where to place the round. Um, but they they're very docile. They eat grass, so if you have a decent sized yard, I mean anything an acre or larger, depending on what your zoning is, that allows you to have animals like that. You can get some kind of electro net and throw the lambs there and give them a little bit of supplemental feed. There's like a pelletized feed, and they also like oats. And when they run out of that, they just kind of mull around for the day and eat the grass, and you just give them some clean water and some shade to lay in, and they're really easy to take care of. And they're also small,
So you
so
got
if you need to pick them up and throw them in a livestock trailer or anything like that, they're pretty easy to grab a hold of.
That's awesome. Did you get into this butchery thing recently, or was it something that you like? Do you guys hunt? Is dressing animals something that it was familiar to you, or was it a new skill that you picked up recently?
So this was something that I had the intention of doing when I came here a little more than half a decade ago. I came from a more suburban type setting, had a very small yard, and we got a little bit of property out here. Nothing really to gloat about, but it's a little bit of land they can have some animals on, and this was kind of what I wanted to do with it, because uh, one reason want to bring the kids up around that, and another reason was that you want to know where your meat comes from. And I had never hunted before, had never been involved in anything like this, and yeah, I just kind of jump in with both feet and do it.
That's awesome, Cal. With your experience now I hope you got a little bit of knife time in, but is this something you're looking to expand into as well?
I wouldn't mind it. I did not get any knife time in last time. I tried to stay out of the way. It's something I would be interested in doing again and maybe being a little more hands-on with. Actually, Tread has a funny story about his first time trying to do this, and it's a predicament I'd like to avoid as much as possible. If you would like to expand on that.
Did you nick the stomach, Tread?
Well, that happened later on, and no, I guess it borders on unintentional. I don't want to say animal cruelty, but it wasn't a clean kill. So the first time we did this, the lamb was, we thought, dispatched. However, the shot placement was a bit off, and it basically just kind of knocked it out. And so we grabbed the lamb and we put the rear legs um, up in the fixture to raise it up. And as we were doing that, it woke up again and started bucking and snorting and scratching around. So we kind of had to hoist it up and then dispatch it at that point in time. So it was, I guess, would have been traumatic if anyone was watching, but it was just kind of like, oh crap, we need to take care of this thing fast.
Yeah, I can imagine. especially if that's your first time. That might be a little off-putting, but I'm glad you stuck with it. This is an important skill for our guys to learn. Now, I must confess, the most that I know about Ohio is that in the south of the state, there's a bit of a problem with heroin, but I mean that's not unique to Ohio. And what I learned from the Drew Carey show growing up. But it sounds like you guys have quite a bit of farmland out there. Is this something that if people wanted to move somewhere to get a little homestead going, is Ohio a good place for this?
I would say so. The only thing kind of holding people back from that might be the cost right now. Ohio is, they say it's a very fast growing state, especially around the Columbus region. So you, definitely, if you have a work from home type of job, you could live a little bit further outside of the metro areas. The land can be had for a little bit less money. But it's definitely a great place to do something like that. We've got actual seasons here, all four of them. And right now we've got some, like you mentioned, we've got some beautiful late summer, early fall weather going on. The winters here aren't too harsh in the central region of the state and down south. Up north by the lake, you're going to get a little bit more harsher winters, but we've got a good agricultural zone for growing. Usually planting around Mother's Day weekend is when plants can go in the ground. And I mean, I'm still harvesting now, and I'll probably will be for the next few weeks. So it's a great state if you want to get involved in something like that. I would recommend it to anyone. I know as much as people like to make fun of Ohio, I've had a great experience here so far, and I don't plan on leaving anytime soon. Cal's been here his whole life, and I don't think he's going anywhere either.
No, I'm not. And I also want to thank you for the Drew Carey show shout out, as it is the best sitcom of the 90s. I just wanted to throw
Obviously.
that one out there. Yes. You mentioned heroin. Actually, that's something that, I've been exposed to. I mean, not by my family and stuff, but it was big around the time I was graduating high school. I know a lot of people that have died from it. By the time the fentanyl crisis kind of hit the news as a mainstream talking point, I was confused because I thought it had killed everyone already. So we got all that stuff pretty early on, I'd say.
Yeah, I as far as I understood it, Huntington, West Virginia. Just if I recall correctly, that's just over the border south. Is that
I
correct?
believe so. I believe
Yeah,
so.
and I know that corridor. It's something about the way that the interstate runs through that area of Ohio. It's kind of like really big for drug trafficking. So it sounds like Ohio kind of took the brunt of that, huh?
Where I'm at, for sure it did. I know. I mean, JD Vance famously he's was from one of the more rural parts of Ohio, and obviously they still had that problem. I'm in like a more urban area though, so I don't know how that would compare to the more rural populations, but it definitely hit us hard. I'd even heard it called ground zero for the whole.
Cal, we're losing you a little bit on the mic. It got real quiet there towards the end of what you were saying.
Oh, okay. I was just saying that I live in a more urban area, so I'm not sure how the crisis there compares to the more rural areas. But where I'm from, I've heard it called ground zero for the whole heroin/fentanyl epidemic. I mean, early on, they were even cutting it with arsenic. So it was bad. One of my best friends was afflicted heavily from that whole thing.
Well, I'm sorry to hear it. I hope he made it out of that, whatever the situation was. But it doesn't seem to make a whole lot of sense that you'd cut a drug with something that kills your clients. But I guess I wouldn't know. So yeah, I don't know why this completely slipped my mind, but our current vice president is obviously from the great state of Ohio, but also you guys are kind of staring down the barrel of a shotgun loaded with poo for your, who's going to be the next CEO of the state. Can you tell us, like, because a lot of people are worried about that because of how spineless and frankly retarded the Ohio GOP seems to be. Is it likely that you know Ramascamy is going to be governor down there?
Yes, you're correct. Just a little over 9 short months ago, an Indian man very publicly squatted and took a poo all over the American people on Christmas Day, no less. And he seems really intent on doing the same to Ohio. As for the Ohio GOP, they do seem like, from what I can tell, the absolute worst. They had what I find really scandalous is that they had he just recently secured the state party's endorsement, and we're talking like 16 or 18 months ahead of when a primary should take place. I had called with my one of my councilmen, and he was giving me a load of nonsense about how they're on the same page as I am and they don't want to endorse him this early. And then the very next day, overwhelmingly they voted to give him the endorsement. So it's bad news.
But I guess the main question is, so if he's going to be, if he's expected to be the guy who ends up running on the Republican ticket, how likely is it that he wins over whatever pile the Democrats similarly put up? Because I have this in my head that Ohio is considered a swing state, whatever that means. But what does it feel like for you guys on the ground there?
I don't really see that. He was kind of foisted upon the Republican voters here the same way that the last Democratic presidential candidate was forced upon the Democrat voters. They had the polity had no say in the matter, and that's kind of what we're sitting on here. And I don't see or hear people being excited about him. I don't know how he's going to really stand up in a statewide fight or competition. Right now, it seems to be a toss-up. It could go either way. It's anyone's guess right now, but we are still kind of a ways out from there. So even though he has the endorsement, I don't know if anyone finds their way to the Ohio GOP Twitter account, but he is not popular. So they don't seem to get the message, and I don't really feel like people are going to show up at the polls for it, which is unfortunate because there may be some other down ticket stuff that could be important to people, especially local measures and things like that. They like to throw on the ballots that could suffer because of that. And I hope that the state at large doesn't take a big hit because he remains on this ticket.
Yeah, Tred, you said something kind of interesting right there that the candidates are forced on the polity rather than them being chosen, which just seems to be the state of American democracy writ large. I think that you guys talking about how Ohio did this with the Democrats last time and the Republicans this time. I mean, it's kind of the same thing in Virginia right now, right? Like all these candidates seem to be just the parties choosing the worst people possible just to make sure nobody gets out to vote at all. But I hope Ohio doesn't go that way. But so let's just to shift this back onto the Campus Martius chapter itself. About when did you guys get founded?
So we are quickly approaching our 1-year anniversary right now. It would be the end of September of last year. We became official. I think we probably had stuff in the works for a couple of months. We did a small meetup at a state park. Four of us showed up there and met each other in person and kind of discussed things and kind of laid out some ground rules and things like that. So yeah, we're nearing the 1 year mark right now. I know Cal was also at that first meeting.
So in that year, you said you started with 4 people, and obviously you needed to get one more on board. But since then, and again, you guys don't have to give numbers, but how do you feel growth has been? Do you think interest has been increasing, or is it at a steady rate? Like what's your feel of it?
It seemed to be a pretty steady rate. I think right now we've got a really solid core group of guys, and I'm excited for what lays in store for us for the future. And then, we're going to attain a little more maneuverability as well once we get this lodge system sorted out. Right now we're very Columbus heavy. I'd like to get some more people up in the north, and we definitely want to get some more people down in the south. But yeah, I think we got a lot of interest, and we will continue coming through the prospects.
Well, that's great. So what do you guys have planned for the coming year? I mean, you said that you do the Skillshare thing, but Cal, you'd mentioned something about the 250th in Ohio.
Yeah. So what that is, it's a historical society for the state, in concert with the Daughters and the Sons of the American Revolution, are conducting a project right now. They're looking for 7,000 grave sites of 7,000 Revolutionary War veterans. And they, as well as any volunteers, are traveling to graveyards and cemeteries and trying to see if they can't track down these graves. Me and a few of the guys up by where I am have visited a couple so far. We plan to keep proceeding to do that in the future. I imagine it'll be going on for, I think they got like 2,000 of them right now. So there's still 5,000 more to be found. So we will be participating in that going forward, at least up by where I'm at.
Well, so that's interesting. What does it mean to go on, like, to find these graves? Like, are they graves that were somehow lost, or like being from New England, you'll sometimes, if you're just traveling through the woods, you'll find like old graves that were on properties that were at some point abandoned, and they could have been just a family plot. Is it that sort of thing, or is it like what? Or are you guys like trawling through established graveyards?
I don't think they're lost per se. I imagine they're probably kept track of at a more local level. But I think what they're looking to do is have more of like a state registry for all these sites. They even give you like a portal to use on your phone as you find them, and you upload them to the database. And if you pull up that database right now, you'll be able to see plots all over the state. So yeah, I don't think they're lost. They're just trying to, get a more accurate count, I would say.
Yeah, kind of consolidating it into one place. It's actually kind of I'm kind of surprised to hear that hadn't been done already. But I mean, that seems like a worthy project. Tread, is that something that you think the chapter is going to be taking part in as like a chance to get some work done, or?
Yeah, this is a great project for smaller groups to get together. Ohio, if you look at a county map of it, it's very split up. So there are 88 counties in total in Ohio, and in each of those counties, they're also further subdivided into townships. And I know, at least in the area where I'm at, there's probably 5 to 6 small graveyards. They could be fenced off in someone's side yard, or in the front of a large business or something like that. I know when I go and take the back roads out to the feed store I go to, you can get a hold of them, and they should have a record of who exactly is buried there. So this would be a great task for smaller groups of guys to get together and call their local township and see exactly who's laid to rest there, and if they were indeed a veteran of the Revolutionary War.
So you said this was the sons and daughters of the American Revolution putting these together. Do you guys have a lot of overlap in your membership with that organization, or is it more of a like this is the 250th? It's a time to get together and do this sort of thing.
Yeah, we don't have a lot of overlap with those organizations. It's like you said, it's more of a 250th anniversary kind of deal. Something that we would like to do is have maybe a small event where we could all get together for the 250th. I know there's going to be a lot of stuff going on around the country, but we haven't really had the opportunity to have a big get together yet. So I think next year it's kind of a big deal. 250 doesn't come around all that often, and we're alive to see it. So yeah, sort of overlap with those organizations. We're just kind of taking this upon ourselves to work with them and help them out.
Yeah, it's perfect timing, and it's also one of those things that any East Coast chapter can get involved with. I didn't know that so many veterans ended up moving out there, but I guess it makes a lot of sense. Getting back to the membership you guys have put together, so there seems to be this across the OGC this age demographic of men who are the eldest are in their 50s, but there are a lot of guys in their early 40s down to mid 20s, and there's a scattering of younger Zoomers in there. What does your like age demographic kind of look like?
So we range from the mid late 20s to the early 40s right now. That's kind of our spread. So not too broad.
Yeah, not super young either. Um, that- so one of the things that we all hope the Old Glory Club becomes as an organization is one that can help mentor the younger men. You said you guys have some people from the 40s into the mid 20s. Is that something you guys have been able to set up yet, or is it still kind of coalescing? I know you haven't even hit the year mark yet, so official programs like this are many years off, but just the general like feel of the people in the organization.
So being one of the elder members of the organization, um, I think I'm proud to say that we haven't really needed to offer a lot of guidance to the younger guys. We have a great group that has amassed, and everyone has their head screwed on right, so to speak. So not a whole lot of guidance has been needed. Cal's a little bit younger than myself, so I don't know what his feelings are on that. But
No, I agree. We have guys from all walks of life. We got a good chunk of manufacturing guys. We got guys involved in politics on personally. We have a bankers, the good kind. Um, yeah, we got a good variety of people with high level skills, and going forward, we will definitely seek, seek to see how they can guide newer members coming up, maybe even younger ones that don't have those skill sets quite yet. Most of us have actually kind of more or less acquired our skill sets. So, yeah, we'll see what the future has in store for us.
Now, this is I guess the big question. We've got some of the chapters have quite a few young families, and Tread, you made allusions to the idea that you have a family as well. Are there a lot of young families in the chapter, or is it mostly single guys?
We're pretty split. We do have our fair share of family men here, both young and old. We've this year, most recently, had quite a few babies being born, so it's great to see. And we've got some guys that are working on it, and we've got guys, some of our prospects now, basically are the same. Young married couples looking to have children, so it's great to see, especially with some of these younger guys that are starting having families. I started a little bit later, but yeah, you love to see these younger guys really getting out there, getting after it, and building families.
Yeah, I mean it's one of these things people made the most during the Biden years of the fertility statistics that under Trump's first term the fertility rates went up, and then under Biden they went down, and now we've got Trump back in, so hopefully we start seeing them skyrocket again. And I'm glad to hear that Campus Martius is doing what you guys can to contribute to to getting the TFR up.
Yes, and we will continue to do that by looking to recruit the Amish, because we got lots of them around.
Now that's interesting. I had completely forgotten about the Amish, because whenever I think of them, I think of the ones in Pennsylvania. Now I know you say you guys have a lot of tradesmen, and one of the things that even out in Connecticut, that I noticed is that whenever anyone raises a barn, there are Amish there. They are Mennonites. They come in and they put up the barn, and they use the technology that you wouldn't expect them to be allowed to use. Have either of you guys got any FaceTime with the Amish?
Oh yes, I source all of my puppies from the Amish. Um, but yeah, I'm actually not too far away from Amish country. I'm probably driving about an hour or so out west, and I'm like right in the heart of Amish country. It's very nice. It's like kind of, driving through a portal back in time. And I mean, I haven't tried this yet, but it would be. They have like nice little antique stores and whatnot, and it wouldn't be a bad place to take a gal out on a date, if you ask me.
That's great. Yeah, I went to one of their I don't know, their weekend markets last time I was in Jersey, actually, which seems a little bit odd now that I say it out loud. But you said you source your puppies from there. What do you mean, like when you're in the market for a new pet, or are you moving dogs?
No, I'm not moving dogs. Just when I want a pet for myself. Uh, the liberals say it's unethical, but I say that Amish puppies need homes too.
Yeah, well, I don't think there's ever been something that a liberal intoned that anyone sat and was like, yeah, that's really compelling. But yeah, I mean, I'm glad to hear that the Campus Martius is up and running so strongly. And you guys said that you're centered in Columbus, and obviously that's the capital of Ohio, so it makes sense that's where you'd be pulling people from. But what about you mentioned Akron before, but Cleveland, is that a stronghold for our guys too, or is it dark up there?
No, we got a guy near there. As you get to the north, we're a little more spread out. Um, I'd like to try to get, I was expecting to get more people from Cleveland, but we haven't had too many hit us up yet. If there are in the north, they tend to be in more of the rural areas up north. Um, there's only I can only think of me and one other guy that are kind of in the heart of the cities up here. But no, we definitely want to find more going forward.
Yeah, that seems to be kind of a trend across the entire network that larger cities are a little bit harder to break into. And there's all sorts of speculation as to why, but that sounds like a pretty regular thing. Um, Now, you guys had mentioned that proximity, due to the size of the state, was an issue. But are there any other, like, if there were any other things getting together organizationally that you've run into, that you've like overcome? Does anything spring to mind? Something that was a problem for a little while that took some thought to get over?
It's not something that we've really overcome yet, but one of the problems for getting together is also one of the bright spots that we had just recently gone over. Is that a lot of us uh, have families, and it's kind of tough to get away. When we want to get together for a meetup, you're talking about typically driving a couple hours, hanging out for a while, and then driving back. And yeah, just getting that time away is difficult if it's something that you can even do. So, the lodge system is seemed to be more fitting, but we also have the smaller meetups where some guys in Cincinnati can just say, "Hey, I'm going to go out and watch this game over here and grab a beer. Wants to come meet up with me?" So smaller things like that are good for us. But there are some kind of some bright spots in the state that we have that we can all meet up at. We did a meetup down at the Campus Martius Museum, which was a hike for a few of us, but we made the trip. We checked the museum out. It was a great place. I would recommend it to anyone who visits our state in the southeastern region. We've got the Air Force Museum here in Dayton at Wright Pat. So we're looking at having a big meetup there in the future and just kind of tour the museum. So we do have some good opportunities for us to get together. However, like I said, it is difficult. It's like wrangling cats, getting everyone's schedules on order, and finding a good weekend where all of us can get away and just hang out.
Yeah, I can imagine that, especially with the young families, there's not a whole lot of time to travel 2+ hours on a weekend just to hang out with the boys. How do you guys structure your meetings? Do you have like a set schedule? Like, do you guys do digital, or is it all strictly in person?
We do. We have a set meeting schedule. It's every other Thursday, 7 o'clock. It's digital. Uh, I mean, I haven't mentioned this to anybody else, but in my head, once the lodge system is figured out, I don't know if it'd be a bad idea for, on the meeting days for each of the lodges to get together in person and then hold the meeting digitally with the rest of the chapter. Um, that's something I've mulled in my own head for a little bit now. Tread, do you have anything to add?
No, you're right on the ball there. So, like you said, we do our digital meetings bi-weekly. Um, we have a pretty good structure that we go over. They tend to be fairly brief if we don't have a lot to cover. We're talking on the order of 20 minutes or so. We open every meeting with a prayer. We have a call for a volunteer every week to do that, so we change it up a little bit with who opens the meeting for us. And no, I like Cal's idea of getting together as lodges and having these meetings in the future when we get that system going. Um, but yeah, it's been pretty good so far. We've got fairly high attendance in these bi-weekly meetings. We give people the opportunity to, all the brothers have an opportunity to talk. If they want to say something, current matters at hand, if there's any events they want to do. So yeah, so far I think it's been a pretty good system.
Yeah, God willing, at some point we'll all have lodges in every major city. Hopefully, we can take over the Masonic lodges and exercise them before we use them. Sorry, Clossington. But no, I think that's a really great system. Nobody. There have been other chapters that have proposed having the lodge system, but I don't think that anybody had brought up having, when you have that proximity, everyone getting together to be a part of the digital meeting. So I think that's a really good idea looking forward. So we do have some super chats that I am going to take a look at right now. First one from Samuel Brady for $50 US. If we hadn't dropped all our gold at Pony Express, I'd call for some. But hopefully Cal gets some knife time next time around. Yes, it is important to get on the knife. uh, Tread, do you think that you guys are going to be? I mean, obviously, the slaughtering of animals is something that's somewhat seasonal, but is this something that's going to be going on for a long time?
Well, there's going to be 2 coming up here this fall, so we will definitely send that invite out when the time comes. They're getting pretty fat back there, so yeah, he's got the opportunity to hop on the blade.
You got it. I just don't
And
want
if
to
it's all right, I don't think you'll miss, but no, I understand. And then for Melon, $5. Cheers, fellow Rust Belt bros. Our time will come again, God willing, of course. Yeah, Melon is actually quite the green thumb. Have either of you guys met our intrepid hobbit?
I met him down at the conference. Very lovely fellow.
Yeah, hopefully you guys can end up putting together something like a conference teaching us all how to homestead, because I know that's a skill that I desperately want to learn, but couldn't put into practice just yet. Speaking of, do you guys have plans in the future of putting together any sort of like event in your state, or are you right now still kind of feeling out getting this thing together?
I had proposed an idea a while ago, but it kind of hinges on a couple factors. So I'm just kind of keeping that in the back of my mind for now. But otherwise, we do. I mean, I don't know. I don't know if we have to keep this a secret. We do plan on doing a weekend camping trip here in the next month or so. And anybody that would like to participate in that, we'll put the call out to some other chapters, and if they'd like, they can come join us.
Well, that's a great idea. So you can if you're in the organization in another chapter, it's open to them, you're saying?
Yeah, we had discussed. I don't see why not.
And what kind of terrain you guys got out there? Is it like do you guys have deep forests that you can do this in, or is it kind of like, or is it like a mountain range sort of thing?
We have all manner of terrain. Where this particular place is, it's kind of deep in a forest, I believe. But we do have more mountainous regions that we could make use of in the future. Yeah, we have basically every kind of landscape you can imagine besides a desert.
Ohio is pretty unique in that aspect. Is we've got some of the climate of the Northeast. We have some Appalachia. We have some Midwest plains here. So yeah, we've got some great forests and hills down in the South and Southwest region.
Yeah, I think Ohio is the first place I ever saw like raised roads going through some of the plains areas where basically like each side of the road is a culvert for miles. I had never seen that before. But yeah, Tread, and this is going to be for you too, Cal. If you guys had any kind of advice or anything that you run into that you want to share with some of the other some of your brothers and other chapters about either running the organization or getting things together, what would it be?
So I would say just try to take the opportunity as much as you can to hang out with your brothers. I'm not sure the structure of a lot of the other chapters, but if it's just going out and grabbing lunch, take the opportunity to do that. It's great bonding time. It can be difficult, especially for, let's say, our us older gentlemen and those of us that are transplants to make friends and find guys with like mind to hang out with. And it's definitely great to just get out of the house and hang out with some guys you can kind of pop some jokes with, discuss. I know some guys that like to discuss philosophy and different things they've read, and just kind of spitball. So I would say my advice: just take as much time as you can to hang out. If it be for an hour or two, go do it.
Yeah, I think this is great advice. It's something that I've actually heard some of the older guys from some of the other organizations that I've been a part of in my life say a lot. They say you get out what you put in, which seems like kind of a lame boomerism, but it's absolutely true. And especially as you mentioned, Tread, and being in my late 30s now, I'm starting to feel this as you start pulling on more responsibilities, especially when you have children. Time is a much more precious thing. So for the younger guys, every opportunity to get to know your brothers, that's pretty great advice. And I'm sorry, Cal, I cut you off there.
No, you're fine. I was just gonna say I didn't really have anything to add. So now he really summed it all up quite well.
Perfect. So did you guys, was there anything else you guys wanted to let the world know about the great state of Ohio and the Campus Martius chapter of the Old Glory Club before we go?
So one thing that I failed to bring up earlier on in our discussion is our motto. It comes from the seal of the Northwest Territory that is part of our logo, and that is Meliorum Lapsa Locavit. From the fallen tree, a better one is grown, and that's what we're trying to do here.
That is an awesome motto. From the fallen tree, a better one is born. And we are definitely living in the age where there are fallen trees all over the place. So I want to thank you both. Tread, Cal, thanks for coming on and representing the Campus Martius. For all of our listeners, thank you for joining us again for the Chapter House. Be sure to join us next week for the great state of Kansas, specifically South Central Kansas with the Home Range Society. Be sure to check out American Spirits every Monday at 8 and Pony Express, which needs no introduction, every Thursday at the same time. We'll see you next week.